And as you guys can see, here's the proof on my arm. Just have a little band-aid, there it is. And yeah, so it's hurting a little bit, not too bad, like a bad bruise. Someone gave me a jelly donut or whatever you call those things when you punch a friend in the arm. So yep, that's, just look out for that, you know, when you're in medical school. Hey, what's up guys? So it's Thursday. I just got done studying and I had to come up to the clinic because the medical school or the hospital associated with the medical school that sees all the students, they've been bothering me about getting my second hepatitis B vaccination. So it's pretty annoying, but I had to get it done. So I took a break from studying. I drove up to the clinic and just to get a quick shot. Now my arm hurts, and yeah, I'm gonna go back and do some studying. And that's just one of the necessary evils of medical school. You need to get vaccines, you know. So I'm thankful I'm getting the Hep B vaccine, just so I don't end up with liver cancer. So, you know, I just want to let you know that that's something that med school is going to make you do. And with a whole host, actually this summer, I had a bunch of other vaccines that I had to do and get taken care of, and a TB test. So that's always a lot of fun, just taking time out to come up to the clinic and get vaccines taken care of. So I will see you guys a little bit later. Hey, what's up guys? So I just got done studying a little bit of anatomy. I try to do a little bit every day so that it never gets overwhelming. And so everyone in medical school has their own strategy. So my friend just got done texting me actually while I was in the middle of studying anatomy, and he's talking to me about, oh well, some people are going to the anatomy lab and they're gonna look at their dissection and try and figure out all of these things, and he was wondering, you know, if he should do that. And so an interesting thing about medical school is that everyone is kind of scrambling to find out what strategy is going to work for them and what tactics they're going to use to be successful at studying and get high test scores, right? So it's interesting. I think it's similar to almost like a gladiatorium. Everyone's going to choose their weapons, and then everyone battles it out, right? It's interesting because all of us have come from undergraduate institutions where we were at the top of our class. We're used to be doing the best, getting the highest scores, and that's what got us into medical school, right? And highest scores on the MCAT, good extracurricular activities. So you have all these type A people, really smart people, and then you lump them all together in medical school, and you kind of see what happens. It's like an experiment. So I think it's really, really peculiar how my friend, he's texting me and he doesn't really know what to do. And I'm like, look, man, what I would do is stick with what works, right? So choose your weapons. Whatever you use to get through undergrad and to get good grades, that's probably going to apply here. And if you need to modify any part of your strategy or your tactics, then you do it in small increments. So the idea is, if you make some change, not a big change, but some kind of modification, you make sure that it's not too big, so that if it does not benefit you, that you don't see too much of a degradation in your performance for tests or quizzes or whatnot. And so that's what I'm thinking right now. But that was while I was in the middle of just studying some anatomy. So I wanted to let you guys know real quick what I was doing. It's like Thursday night. It's 8 o'clock. I've been studying all day, and all morning, all evening. I'm still studying right now. And one thing that you need to understand about medical school is if you want to do well at medical school and you really want to have a good time in medical school, you need to love to learn. And it just needs to be something where you don't mind doing it for hours on end. I have friends who like to play video games. They play video games all day. They'll play Call of Duty all day. When they're not at school or they're not at work, they play all day, literally all day. They wake up, they play Call of Duty. They have the newest Call of Duty game. They play all day, and they only take breaks to go to the bathroom, maybe eat something or text someone, but otherwise they play all day. And so what I'm trying to let you guys know is that at least at my medical school, and I know it's probably the same at all medical schools, that if you want to do well and you want to be comfortable, you need to be someone who just really loves to learn, and you don't mind studying for hours on end. And I just want to throw that out there. So back to choose your weapons, right? So a couple of things. I am going to show you guys my weapons, what I do, what I use to do the best that I can right now. In a later video, I'm going to go over all the details, but right now I just want to give you a quick look at what I do, what weapons I bring to the gladiator ring to slay some classes, okay? So, but first, I'm going to show you what I've been doing. So I was studying histology for a few hours before this, and then I kind of just got in my mode and I was going to just do a little bit of anatomy. So right now, I just finished a brachial plexus. So if you don't know what a brachial plexus is, basically it is the nerves that innervate your upper extremities. And and it also has branches that innervate part of the thorax, and so it's just one of those classic things that you learn in medical school. It's going to help you diagnose neuropathies, and so it's very useful for physicians to know. It's just one of those classic things that all doctors and physicians and medical professionals know and are taught. So here's mine. And so this is my brachial plexus right here. And I know I have it on my iPad, so this is kind of one of my weapons of choice for medical school. It's my go-to. And that's what I use. So I just drew my brachial plexus there. And so what that is just basically the nerve roots that are coming from cervical spines, cervical vertebrae, from cervical vertebrae, C5, 6, 7, 8, and then the thoracic vertebrae, T1. And then you draw those. I'll let you see that one more time. So this is really what I'm working with right here. So that is my brachial plexus. Oops, that's upside down. Sorry, I apologize. So yeah, that is, and it keeps turning upside down. So I have to keep it. So that is my brachial plexus. So I'm not really expecting you to learn any kind of anatomy from that. I just wanted to give you guys an example of kind of what I'm doing. So I'm just sitting here drawing a brachial plexus, and that's really, so I'm just sitting here drawing a brachial plexus, and I find that if I just do a little bit of anatomy every day, then no part can ever sneak up on me. And so that's what I mean. And I've always thought this way in my education and through higher education. I think of classes kind of like monsters, and you just go and certain people have better abilities to slay these monsters, get good grades, and just destroy these classes, and other people don't. But my point is that what you do in medical school is really going to depend on you. And that's a very interesting dynamic and interesting environment to be in academically, because like I've said before, you take the best of the best and you put them together, and then how are things going to play out? So I look forward to sharing more about how that actually works with you guys in later videos. But for now, so that's what I was doing. I'm working on anatomy and just sitting here at my desk, drawing some brachial plexus, drawing a brachial plexus. And then my friend texted me, and he's kind of freaking out. Should I go into anatomy lab tomorrow? So many people are going to anatomy lab, and do you think it would be a good idea? And I told him, look, for me, you do what you want to do, but for me, I think doing well in anatomy is all about knowing landmark structures and then using logic to deduce what things are. So anatomy has a really it has rules. Although some of the names for structures and body parts are not logical at all, some of them are just wacky and weird. Other ones do work. For example, a crow's beak for the coracoid process, or a horse's tail for quada equina in the spinal cord. So there's different things that do work, and you can kind of work with them, and they help you remember things. But for other things, it just doesn't really make any sense. And sometimes the orientation of a body part, what a body part's called, will be based on the entire body in the orientation of anatomical position for a patient or a model. Other times, the name will be derived from the orientation of that body part to another body part. For example, some nerves, cords in the brachial plexus are going to be named, some cords are going to be named based on their orientation around the axillary artery. So it's just something interesting to think about. And so that's what I'm doing. I want to give you guys a little snapshot of what's going on in anatomy with me right now. It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and now I will show you what I use to slay my classes. So first up is trusty iPod. iPod. What am I talking about? What, this is 10 years ago? No. So trusty iPad. Nothing fancy. I think it's iPad 4. I've had it for about 3 years, but it's on point. This is, I can read. I don't carry any books. I don't carry any notebooks. I don't carry any handouts, nothing. I always download my slides. I put them on here. I download my syllabi, I put them on here. I download my ebooks, I put them on here. I take notes in class, I put them on here. So this is really what goes in my backpack. It saves my back. It's just lightweight, and it basically is 17 things in one. And I read a lot of books, so I also just read books on this. So this is just my go-to, just, little tactical, like, mini piece of hardware. Just I need backup. Right. So this is, for me, it's a must-have, right? And then you also, stylus, right? The stylus goes with it. You're going to need the stylus. The stylus is how you write. On the new iPad Pros, it's way, way better. So on this one, it's so old that it registers my thermal signature from my palm. So I have to put this little cloth underneath it. So I modified it a bit so that it can't, and I can still write like I was writing on a piece of paper. So that's pretty clever. It's a little older iPad, but it works great. Next up is going to be my major weapon. So it's basically this guy, right? It's just this guy. Nothing super duper fancy. It's just a MacBook Pro. I think it's 2012 edition. but this is my workhorse, kind of, it's my primary weapon against, some big nasty classes that are coming to take my confidence and do me harm. So yeah, this is my second piece of hardware. I could not be where I am and be the student that I am without this guy. Thank you. I'm not being paid by Apple or anything. I'm not. This is not an endorsement for the products. This is just what I use, and this is how I do battle. So yeah, just the MacBook Pro 2012, and then so I do have another camera, but I'm running kind of short on time, and I need to get back to studying. I also got to run and grab a quick run. So, and then my third piece, and this is variable, and this is just for me. Remember, these are my tools for success. But I just want to let you guys know, if you're thinking about medical school or you're about to go to medical school, this is something that I have friends that spent a couple weeks trying to figure out what they were going to use. What note-taking software they're going to use. If they're going to get an iPad, are they going to get a MacBook, or are they going to get a PC, are they going to get an Asus, or are they going to get a Dell? All these things are things that a lot of people don't think about. But for me, I take education and learning extremely seriously, like it's my job. So this is what I've stuck with. This has not done me wrong for the last 4 years, almost 5 years now. So this is what I'm using. And you can choose what you want. And if you have any questions about what I use, or anything, you have any comments or whatever you think about that, please leave them in the comment section below. But the third piece, and maybe perhaps it could possibly be the most vital piece of equipment, is my iPhone 6s. So that's what I am talking to you guys with right now, so I can actually show it to you. It's just basically a space gray iPhone 6s. And it's basically a derivative of a MacBook Pro or an iPad. But it does a lot more. It's a lot more mobile. It's a lot more accessible at times. So I would say that that's also a tool for learning. I'm heading to class. Oh, I forgot to read that paper that I was supposed to read before class today. Well, open my iPhone, skim the article, get all of the important points, and I'm ready for that discussion in class. That happened to me several times over the past few years. So that's one example. Or I forget some kind of assignment or some other kind of instruction. I can text a friend quickly, faster than email, and I can ask a friend, hey, where are we supposed to do this, or where do we get this? How are we supposed to hand this in? So, in access to the supercomputer and internet, it's just another tool that is invaluable. So that's my lineup for medical school. That's how I do damage and am victorious and successful. Is I use iPhone 6s, iPad 4, and MacBook Pro. And I never see myself deviating from some modification or exactly this lineup for my weapons. So that's what I'm using. And I just want to let you guys know that. And please tell me anything that works for you, or if you have any questions about how I can work with these pieces of hardware together to be successful. I would love to answer your questions, and I really look forward to talking to all of you. Thank you for tuning in to Hiphoppocrates TV, and you're watching That Med Life. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Joseph. So I'm almost at the end of week 2. Today is Saturday. I did homework, or I didn't really do homework, but I studied all morning from about 8:30 a.m. to 1:30, almost 2 o'clock. And then I had a quick lunch, and now I am up at the lake. I'm going to go on a bike ride and kind of relax for the rest of the day.
and just get ready to study hard tomorrow. And I figured that I would let you guys come along and see what I do when I'm going on a bike ride. So I ran every other day this week, and today I figured I would take it easy. I'm just going to take a short bike ride around the lake, listen to some tunes, and just have a good time. And I wanted you guys to come along and see what first year med student does on their weekend. So that's what I'm up to. I hope you enjoy the views.